Beyblade X, Infinity Nado 6, and Charging Topspinner? Wowzers, 2023 is a very exciting year for battle top enthusiasts. Now before I go on any further, I should make it clear that this video is not a hands-on video of any of those battle top series I just mentioned. Probably obvious enough, but I wanted to be extra clear in case there's that odd person who clicked on this video with the expectation of seeing battles between these tops. While Infinity Nado and Charging Topspinner have already released their products, I have yet to get my hands on them, hopefully sometime down the road in 2023. I will first start this talk off with Beyblade X, since that is the battle top series everyone across the globe is familiar with. When Beyblade Burst was nearing its end, people were worried that Beyblade was going to take a production pause before starting the 4th generation. For some reason though, I had a suspicion that this was not going to be the case. Thanks to social media and much more prominent advertising, the Beyblade series has managed to enjoy more popularity and relevance than ever before. Lo and behold, not sure if it was late 2022 or early 2023, that rumors started swirling that a 4th generation would follow up real soon. In 2023, the leaks have arrived and did in fact prove that a 4th generation will be here for summer 2023. Awesome. Just plain awesome. Takara Tomy officially posted the video on March 21, 2023. Upon creating this commentary early mid-May 2023 at the time, I went back to watch the video and took 5 screenshots. I will discuss them. The road to 25th Beyblade since 1999. At first, I thought this was a Golden Ultimate Dragoon, but upon brief research, it more so resembles Dragoon Grip Attacker. I am still not entirely sure, but anyways, this image was shown to remind us of how long Beyblade's history is, and it is truly quite interesting to see that it came into existence on the very last year of the 1900s. Well, it is great to see that it is still spinning today in 2023. The past 3 generations of Beyblade: Generation 1, Back and Shoot Beyblade; Generation 2, Metal Fight Beyblade; and Generation 3, Beyblade Burst. 3 generations of Takara Tomy's battle tops. All of these logos look great, though Metal Fight and Burst's logo looks better than Bakuton Shoot's logo. Here is the green silhouette of a Generation X Beyblade. Naturally the most hyped and talked about part of the official announcements because it leaves you curious about what this Beyblade will look like. How will it perform? I learned not too long ago that the X in Beyblade X apparently stands for Xtreme. Does this mean that the 4th generation of Beyblade will spin and move on the stadium at thriller speeds? Possibly, and quite likely I would say. Another thing I would like to say is that there was a Reddit speculative post saying that this strongly resembles the heavy metal system of the Bakuton Shoot generation. If that is the case, I will certainly be glad. I'm really hoping that the contact points will be metal for Beyblade X. The X that the Beyblade folded into. They are really emphasizing that X, eh? The extreme performance of extreme Beyblades to make you sweat under the summer heat. Well, for those of us that live in the northern hemisphere, that is, because if you're in Oceania or something, then it will be winter for you. Even then, your winters are still hot in some parts, particularly North Australia, while islands like Tonga and Fiji, I do not even need to explain. The final screenshot from the video I will be discussing is the Beyblade X name and logo. You can even see the Japanese name in katakana underneath it reading Beyblade X, a literal Japanese transliteration of its English name. Now if this is actually what the final logo is going to look like, then I have to be brutally honest and say that this would be the blandest logo in Beyblade's history. Come on, no matter how much you love Beyblade, if this is what it is really going to look like, then take a moment to go back to the part of the video where I showcase the screenshot of the previous generation. You back? Alright. Now fess up. In comparison to the others, this logo is bland. It is not ugly by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly not exciting either. Does it need to look extreme? No, just more colorful and a bit flashier. The Metal Fight and Burst logos are excellent examples, and while Bakuton Shoot does not look too flashy, it is cool enough. So, that is my commentary in regards to the official announcement. Now how about what I actually think and expect from this generation? To start with, I am excited for Beyblade X. I know, obvious enough. Why exactly am I stoked? Aside from the obvious, there will be new Beyblades to play with. If you have seen my first and ever so cringy Beyblade video, you will know that I formally entered the hobby back in April 2021. That means that I missed the entirety of Bakuton Shoot, Metal Fight, and the majority of Burst. Why April 2021 though? Of all random times, which also happened to be just when Beyblade Burst's Dynamite Battle system was released. Over the years, Beyblade would crop up in my mind, but I was never motivated enough to go buy some. For some reason, the urge to try them that year soared to the point that I found myself doing research, then proceeded to purchasing Takara Tomy Beyblades. I then learned that there were different generations, and Metal Fight became my favorite. As mentioned during the part where I was commentating on the 3rd screenshot I took, my biggest wish for the 4th generation is for it to be metal on metal contact. Why? Because cling, cling, clash. The sound and looks of metal are simply awesome. Oh yeah, and we cannot ignore the fact that metal is far more durable than plastic. Am I implying that Bakuton Shoot and Burst suck? No. However, as fun as they are, we cannot deny the fact that when metal collides with plastic, the plastic's lifespan is significantly shortened when done repeatedly. So, what will I do if Beyblade Xtreme is plastic? Boycott Beyblade and become an Infinity Nado fanboy. Just kidding. I will still try out Beyblade X even if they end up going with plastic, but I really do hope they go metal. In terms of stadiums, I hope they keep the stadiums walled. There are 3 things I frequently credit the Burst generation for: walled stadiums, colorful designs, and the Beyblades themselves being large. You may or may not find that strange for someone whose favorite generation is Metal Fight, but that is the very reason why I love walled stadiums. Metal Fight can get violent and destructive at times, as can all Beyblade generations, but Metal Fight's prize metal is not welcome to destroy things in my house. Infinity Nado is even worse, as these battle tops are even heavier and more metallic than Metal Fight. So yeah, keep the stadiums walled because battle tops are violent destroyers of property. Mind you, I do not want all of the stadiums to be entirely walled. Takara Tomy should definitely make some open stadiums, especially those large open ones that you see in the Beyblade cartoon. Speaking of the cartoon, that is exactly what I would like to talk about next. 2 aspects of it. How about relevant characters of different ethnicities? You know, like what they did in Metal Fight. Metal Fight had a lot of characters from all over the globe, from the Garcias of South America, an African team, European team, American team, Chinese team, and more. Not only that, the girls were also relevant! Yes, there were a number of girls in the Metal Fight series that actually had their products released, like Mei Mei's Aquario 105F, Ren's The Phoenix E230 GCF, and Sophie's Grand Katos 225RS, to name a few right there. Beyblade Burst? None. Not a single one of them had an official Takara Tomy release in the entire 7 years of Beyblade Burst. Yes, Hasbro did produce Ilias and Prees, but that is not the same. This looks really bad, especially when you consider that Infinity Nado and even Ultimate Top Plate did vastly better in their treatment towards their girls. And going back to the diversity point, Infinity Nado 6 cast has relevant characters of non-Asian backgrounds with official product releases. Not the case with the newly released Charging Topspinner, but at least they gave the girls relevancy on official product releases. If Beyblade is serious about being more prominent on the international stage and remaining the #1 battle top franchise, they need to make their characters more diverse and their diverse characters relevant. The second thing I would like to talk about in regards to Beyblade animated series is the writing. Beyblade Xtreme, please give better backstories to the main characters and rivals, and go back to 25-minute episodes to avoid rushing and pacing issues. My goodness, did Dynamite Battle give me an awful impression of the series. I do not really watch cartoons all that often, but when I did enter the hobby 2 years ago, I became very curious about the animated series behind it. So what exactly did I hate so much about it? It had a lot of potential to be amazing, but it fell short too many times, thus came off as cheap, rushed, and lazy. First off, the situation with Bell Daiko Kuten. When many people watched the first several episodes, they were puzzled at how the hell is this kid so strong in crushing legends. While I personally could have cared less about the legends getting crushed, if they had explained his backstory better and the fact that he was a prodigy, gifted with Beyblade creation, what happened to his parents, that would have gone a long way in clearing up confusion. I do not want to talk too long about the Dynamite Battle season, but I need to talk about a couple more things, like the lack of Beyblade references when they see a successor to a Beyblade, and Phenomenal Pain's backstory. Phenomenal's backstory was so damn weak that some have criticized it as being the worst evil motive ever. Oh yeah, and he was not actually evil anyway, which was very disappointing. You have this ultra edgy looking guy only to have him wanting to desperately battle someone because they called him boring. Like what? If Rashad had utterly destroyed his Beyblade, then called him boring and weak, that would have made a lot more sense. Oh yes, and in that same scene, they did not even bother to show what Beyblades Phenomenal and Rashad had at that time. Very cheap and lazy. And throughout the Beyblade Burst series run, is there a reason why they could not have made Vault's siblings more relevant? Something that a lot of people have been wishing for? Alright, on a more positive note, Dynamite Battle had beautiful animations and designs. I am going to start my thoughts on the Beyblade cartoon right here, lest this video turn into a cartoon review, which is something I would have done if I had entered the hobby before the Burst series began. International stage. I heard a rumor that Beyblade X is going to sell to international customers directly. Does this mean no more Hasbro crap in North America and Europe? I sure hope so. I never bought Hasbro Beyblades and have zero intentions to do so because why should I? Why should I buy low effort, cheap, visually inaccurate to the cartoon Beyblades? I do really hope that this is true because if Takara Tomy has been paying attention to their customers, they should know very well at this point that their customers are not strictly 6-year-old boys in Japan. If that were the case, they would have gone bankrupt from a long time. It is thanks to the numerous international youth and adults alike that are giving them the money they need to stay afloat and that confidence to move quickly into the 4th generation. Selling direct and not having to deal with any middlemen will make life so much easier for fans who want to enjoy Beyblades that are accurate to the series. So, I believe that is all I want to say about Beyblade X. If you are still watching, which you better be, I am now going to be discussing the second biggest Battletop franchise in the world, Infinity Nado. Yes, this is actually a genuine series, not a knockoff like what still too many people think. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people for some reason still think that if a Battletop is not Beyblade, it must be some sort of knockoff, right? Yes and no, but in the case of Infinity Nado, that is a hard no. This is a full-blown original series that also happens to have its own media like books and seasons of cartoons. What is funny about this is someone's curiosity about the legitimacy of this series is what led me to learn more about Infinity Nado's existence. It began through a topic on Reddit Beyblade titled, "Do you think that Infinity Nado is a Beyblade ripoff?" Upon further research, this greatly sparked my interest in this Beyblade competitor, sometime after I bought Generation 3 Nados. Anyway, so knockoff chat aside, it is time to discuss the main reason why I brought Infinity Nado into this video in the first place. Infinity Nado 6. And you know what is really cool about Infinity Nado 6? If you said the sword launchers, yes, you are correct. That is certainly one of the really cool attributes of it. And yes, some people think that the way you stroke the sword to get the Nado to launch looks sexually suggestive, but that is just their opinion, man. The next amazing thing about Nado 6 is the fact that it is metal on metal contact. Yes, metal on metal contact points. From Nado 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, there was no Nado 4. All of the main products have been metal on metal contact. So, if you love metal fights, then Infinity Nado will literally be the next best Battletop you can buy. A random fact that almost nobody will know except the closest observers. When Takara Tomy launched her Generation X announcement to YouTube, this was the very same day that Alpha Group, the company that created Infinity Nado, made the Nado 6 page on AliExpress finally available to international shoppers. What does that tell you? Alpha clearly knows the hype for Battletops is serious in 2023 and that they are watching their number one competitor closely. This brings up a critical question. Are they actually going to advertise the new generation of Nados properly this time? If they really want a nice slice of that international pie, they will have to do a better job at making themselves more known in the North American market. Selling internationally on AliExpress is good, but not enough to make a dent. The funny part about it is that Alpha's main distributor, Aldi, already has North American headquarters. Why then did Nado 3 and 5, the generations that were so internationally, including North America, fail to achieve notable relevancy? If you ask me, it boils down to three things. Alpha Group did not make the product line long enough, failed to launch the entire cartoon season in English, and as I've already mentioned, not enough convincing advertisements in North America. Let's start with the product line point. I will only bother with Nado 3 and 5 since those are the only ones that did see direct in-store releases. When they did show up in stores, there was nowhere near as much variety as you would find of Beyblades. Nado 3 actually did have a lot of products in the lineup, but a good number of them were not available in store. Based on what I have seen and heard, the situation in South America is different, where there is apparently much more Nados in their stores. Interestingly, South America also happens to be the only New World region where Infinity Nado is actually popular, so that explains it. But by not offering the same options to North Americans, how is Alpha Group supposed to show and let such a prominent market of the world have a better understanding of the existence of their products? From what I am seeing, it seems like Alpha Group has learned from the past in regards to this. I say this because I see listings for Nado 6 on Amazon United States. While not a brick and mortar store, Amazon is an excellent, popular, and convenient way to sell products, because Amazon is very big and popular, so it makes sense to put it there. Will Amazon Canada see Infinity Nado 6 too though? I speculate that Canada might see Infinity Nado 6 on Amazon and in stores like Walmart and Toys R Us in summer, and you know, if Alpha's response to Takara Tomy's Beyblade X video is evidence, then this could likely come true. Lack of a full cartoon in English. Though Infinity Nado has dubbed the full series in numerous languages, for some strange reason, the full English version for seasons 3 and 5 are nowhere to be found. Now, unlike Beyblade, the Nados you buy are accurate to the series, regardless of whether you buy them directly from Alpha Group or not. Assuming you bought a genuine Infinity Nado. The only difference are some name changes, which is expected, like the main blue-haired boy from Nado 3 going from Ye Feng to Jin, and that yellow-eyed blonde girl going from Lan Robing to Cecilia. So yeah. Season 3 I believe was 52 episodes long, but only 2 episodes have been found in English. If Alpha Group is going to just keep cryptically releasing only 1 or 2 episodes in English every time they launch a generation, then they should just totally forget it and just put English subtitles on screen. Though again, if they really want to size up Beyblade, then get on with properly releasing the entire season in English. Infinity Nado could have used the fact that their Battletops are accurate to the series regardless of language and region as a major selling point, but nope, they missed that mark for 2 generations now, so we will see if they'll finally get it this time around for Infinity Nado 6. The cast. Infinity Nado's previous generations did not really have much of a diverse cast. This is likely due to the main target being Asia and select parts of the world. This time around though, you can clearly see different ethnicities, and yes, As mentioned earlier, they're relevant to the plot and have official product releases, not cartoon exclusive junk or generic recolored parts. That is awesome. Why do I care so much about seeing more ethnicities in girls? Because it makes things fresher, more exciting, and interesting. You ever wander down a street of diverse restaurants and smelt the cuisine of various foods? Or perhaps listened to and enjoyed the sights and sounds of different cultures during those culture parades or shows? The different voices, sounds, and appearances of people and things does wonders in creating both visual and audio appeal. Now, some people are going to disagree because in some contexts, like say a story from ancient Nubia, yeah, you obviously cannot expect to see a cast from numerous racial backgrounds. Throwing diversity in for the sake of it would not make much sense in such scenarios. However, for a modern universe of battle-top players, especially one that is geared to an international market, it does very much make sense. The last thing I would like to say in regards to Infinity Nado's animated series is that I personally like the art style of Season 3 the most. I do not hate the 3D style of the present generation, but I do think that in the future they should probably go back to the more cartoony 2D style. I have seen others share the same opinion on this as well. Allow me to show you a short slideshow of the present internationally available Nado 6s, then give you my final say on Alpha Group's 5th generation of Nados. Yes, really cool if you ask me, but you might also be wondering what is up with the extremely small inventory of products. Well, I can assuredly tell you that if last generations are an indicator, there will be more to come. There are also some starter packs in the shop with the Dragon Head launchers, but I left those out of this video. In the future, we can expect to see color variants as well as Nados to succeed the present character's Nado. Not only that, we may also get Nado releases from other characters in the show, like this guy's Nado and his daughter's Nado. These other characters' Nados are already available in China and possibly other Asian countries, so it will only be a matter of time before they get international releases. Really glad this generation has continued with the Metal on Metal contact to give us metal-loving battle-top enthusiasts an alternative fix to Beyblade's beloved metal fight. I have not mentioned this yet, but for both Nado 6 and Beyblade Xtreme, I would also love to see spare parts readily available for purchase. Japan is continuing with Beyblade, China with Infinity Nado, but what about South Korea? Are we ever going to see something succeed Ultimate Top Plate? Yes, 2023 has brought us a new Korean series called Charging Topspinner. So here is the main promotional image of Charging Topspinner. You will see 2023 Choirock, all rights reserved. This means that Charging Topspinner is not related to Sonokong's Ultimate Top Plate as I previously thought. And because it is not even made by the same people, it technically would not even count as a spiritual successor. I found the opening and ending to the animated series, so allow me to show you 1 to 2 seconds of 13 screenshots I took, then commentate. Beautiful! I absolutely love the art style Choirock went with for Charging Topspinner's cartoon. And yes, based on what I have seen from some of the video clips, the animations are smooth and good looking. Will there be multiple seasons or is this just going to be a one-off thing? Maybe South Koreans will know, but if you ask me, I'm going to predict that there will be a 60% chance there will and a 40% chance there will not. Why do I say this? Because Choirock has clearly put some effort into it. However, though too early to tell, it looks like South Korea is going to remain the main market or perhaps even the exclusive market for it. I do hope I am wrong because it would be a shame to keep the Topspinners Korea only. Doing this would also spell a short lifespan for this series, which is exactly what happened to Ultimate Top Plate. Well, actually, in regards to Top Plate, I heard that it may also have something to do with Takara Tomy cancelling their license to sell Beyblades when they made a competing battle-top series under their partnership. That, and being only sold in Korea, is no wonder they died rather fast. As for the cast, well, I do not even need to explain. Clearly both girls and boys are relevant, and yes, that includes the main girls having official product releases accurate to the series. As mentioned earlier, I am not going to give Topspinner much flack over the lack of different ethnicities because this show is intended for the South Korean market to the ethnic Korean audience. If Choirock decides that they really want to make this a global thing and become competitor number 3 in the battle-top competition, then they are going to want to consider spicing things up in newer seasons. Alright, time to talk about the actual products now. Allow me to show you 1 to 2 seconds of screenshots I took of the main product line from videos. Very nice and colorful designs for sure, but they are also plastic. and they look really light. A plastic part is not a deal breaker, as I would not have bought first generation Beyblades if that were the case. However, I was honestly hoping that Korea would have come back with metal battle tops. Because they are short, light and plastic, it looks as though even Dynamite battle Beyblades would probably shred these. Probably, I do not have enough evidence to support that claim, but it looks fairly obvious. For sure, battles against metal fight Beyblades in all generations of Infinity Nado would significantly shorten the lifespan of Topspinners, or perhaps even murder them. Plastic and metal talk aside, I should talk about which of these I like the most as well as the stadiums. Hard to say which one is my absolute favorite, so I will say that Wolfstrom, Lotan, and Aquaria are my favorites. What is up with the theme of blue or red hair protagonists? Beyblade's Takara Kinomiya had blue hair, Ginga Hagane red hair, Vault Oi blue hair. Infinity Nado's main protagonists had blue hair till season 6, Ultimate Top Plates had red hair, and now Topspinners has both blue and red hair. Yo, they totally did that on purpose. Choirock is totally aware that blue or red hair is the thing for main characters in Battle Top series. If Beyblade Xtreme's main protagonist has blue or red hair, this would be totally expected. I have not mentioned this earlier, but another major thing that would be really exciting about Beyblade Xtreme for me is being there at the beginning of the generation. Entering the hobby so late means that I missed out on 22 years of product releases. Not that I need to own every single release, nor would I advise anyone to irresponsibly get into debt over Beyblades. However, this time around, a fresh, new generation will give latecomers like myself the chance to keep up with product releases. Well, if I end up liking the new series, that is. Heh, that is fast. As you can see here, we just got some super fresh leaks. I acquired this talk yesterday, May 11, 2023, and now I already got the leaks early, May 12, 2023. From what I heard, we were not supposed to get more information until May 15, 2023. This is metal. This is a dream come true. If that red-haired guy is confirmed to be the protagonist, then this will make my prediction become a fact. See, there's something about blue or red-haired protagonists in Battletop universes. If this is going to be international, I do wonder how this will go in regards to the names. I, for one, would prefer they leave the names alone, but localization will almost certainly want to change some things. But you know what? The most important thing will be the West getting the same Beyblades as Japan. If they want to change some names, whatever, but please leave the actual Beyblade itself identically accurate to the Japanese originals. As said earlier, if the international shipping thing is true, then this will not be a problem and will bypass whatever crap Hasbro might do to the Beyblades. If you've watched this far into the video, thank you for sticking around and not being a total goldfish. It has been a while since I've done such a long, passionate talk video like this, and putting it together was a lot of work. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and support the channel if you can, so that my brands can not only survive, but also thrive. I am Guuzaka, and now I am out.